Hello, welcome to the show. We've got another installment of the Everton game reactions, and today it is the reaction to the Everton win over Hull 3-2. Obviously, wasn't the most convincing win over Hull you'll ever see. Conceded 2 goals to a championship side placed 19th in their division, which is pretty diabolical if you ask me. But we're just going to go through the game, and I'm going to start with a little segment of ours that I'm going to introduce called the Rafa segment. And basically, this is the segment where we point out each and every flaw of Rafa's throughout every game. And in this game, well, I think let's go back to a press conference that Rafa made only a few days ago, or should I say a comment he made in one of his press conferences, and it was regarding the 2 new signings, and he said that these 2 new signings will suit his game plan, and he liked to say that his teams are very counter-attacking, right? Now, this is very key, because we look at today's game and we look at a number of previous games, this run in particular where we've only won one of our last 12, and you see that we do not play with pace at all. And generally speaking, pace is required to counterattack. I don't care if you're trying to counterattack or not. You should be just exercising, the pace levels throughout the whole game. Whether you've got the ball and you're looking to break, whether you've got the ball and defenders are back, you need to play with pace, you need to play with a bit of unpredictability. The problem is we don't do that. And today was just another common trait, at least for the first 20 minutes, where slow starts have also been a common trait of ours. So usually those two things interlink together. But look, we love to pass the ball around the back. We don't play with pace. When we go forward, we don't play with pace. And look, when that happens, defenses are allowed to settle. And this counter-attacking brand of football that Rafa wants to play, the plan is void. Because you can't counter-attack if the defenders are all back. You're allowing them to settle down and do whatever the hell they want. And if you're entirely dependent on counter-attack, well, we've got problems there. Another issue is playing Rondon up front. Now, I understand DCL is out, so you need to play a striker, obviously. But look, I would have rather Louis Dobbin play up front and he gets changed over for Tosin. Tosin could have started for someone else. There's so many different things you could have done, but you played Rondon for 116 minutes. And then you compare that to Anthony Gordon, who only played 65 minutes and was just about the best man on the pitch. We'll get back to that in just a second. But Rondon, look, the ball got to him. He was slow with it. His touches were heavy. There were a couple times he could have freed up an Everton player that had a shot on goal, and he didn't do it quick enough. He turned the ball over. It's just, I don't understand what Rafa sees in this bloke. I don't understand it. And it's gone on for way too long. The ship has sailed with Rondon. Get rid of the bloke. Try anyone else. I honestly, I've got no words. I've got no other words apart from play someone else, for God's sake, Rafa. The bloke literally offers nothing, and it's an absolute killer. I think that's my Rafa segment for today, apart from the fact we've decided to play back 5 again, which also made no sense. It was nice to see Mykolenko get a shot. He was a bit shaky at times, but, obviously he's adjusting to English football life, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This game, I thought Kenny was alright, but the centre-back pairing, or the 3 in the middle, were very shaky, and, we conceded 2 goals. Let's talk about the 2 goals. The first goal, we thought that 3 minutes was crazy the other night against Brighton. This time, it took 1, not even 1 minute, for Hull to break the deadlock and go up 1-0. And it was off another set piece. Guess what? It just feels like deja vu. We're talking about this every single damn episode, man. It's just frustrating. And it went over a couple Everton defenders. I think it was Rondon and Mykolenko. Yeah, absolute surprise Rondon was involved in that. But yeah, that's an absolute killer to start things off. And then you look at the second goal. It always seems like every game we give one player an opportunity to score a wonder strike, and they do it every single time without failure. So that's an absolute killer. What happened last game with McAllister, and now it happened this game. I don't remember the bloke's name, but it was an absolute ripper of a goal that Begovic wasn't going to score. It just curled around. Begovic's, any shot he had of saving the ball. But I think we've got to give credit to that Hull player for scoring the goal. Let's have a look at the player of the game. And I did mention earlier that Anthony Gordon came off for 65 minutes. He is my player of the game, despite playing, the least minutes for a starting 11 player. Tonight, he was the first one to come to the bench, which made no logical sense. I think bringing in Townsend at that time of the game made no sense, because Gordon and Gray were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Those two, they honestly had to run from wing to wing, basically, and that allowed them to play make and pretty much control what was going on forward of the ball. You saw Gordon. The second goal, I think he fed it out to John Joe Kenny, who crossed the back in, and Gomez scored. And then there was some beautiful two-man play between Gray and Gordon. I think Gray took a couple on, got past them, gave it to Gordon. Gordon, beautiful touch pass back to Gray. You've got to put a certain amount of weight on the ball for it to reach Demarai Gray at the exact time so he isn't called offside. And Gordon did it to perfection. So you got to give the bloke the man of the match. Lot of effort all night as well. Had a couple opportunities as well. I think one hit the post. There were plenty of opportunities for those two. And we started off very slow, but it was Demarai Gray and Anthony Gordon that basically dug us out of our rut, and then, gave us an opportunity to win by giving our team confidence, instilling confidence and belief in them into the rest of the team, because they scored that goal. And then, Gordon involved in the second goal gave us the lead. And then, our confidence sort of built back up for the rest of the game. And that's how we were ultimately able to win. I think we've also got to put it down to goalkeeping error for two of the goals. You see the third goal by Townsend. It was a great goal nonetheless. Good strike. But it was right at the Hull keeper. The ball movement was a little bit unpredictable in the air, but the keeper should have saved that. I mean, in the Premier League, that's getting saved. And the Gomez goal, I think it was right at the Hull keeper and went right underneath him. That would have been saved in the Premier League as well. So if this is a Premier League game, you're looking at a 2-1 loss. So as mentioned earlier, it's a very unconvincing win. I'm not going to take it. I am going to take it, obviously, because we advance. But in terms of, Rafa getting let off the hook, yeah, I mean, he did not pass the test. But you also cannot let the players off, because the set piece problem, I mean, how many times can you go through it in training and then stuff it up in the first minute of action? After, working on it at the training ground, because I'm sure there would have been a lot of emphasis on it after we conceded yet another goal to a set piece. In a couple days' time, we move on and play Leicester. Now, if we play like we did today, with such a diabolical start, basically there was no energy, there was no desire, no passion, we're going to get flogged off the park, basically, because Leicester, they beat Liverpool last. Strong team. They've underachieved this year, but that doesn't take away from the talent they've got on their team, and a good coach as well, a good manager. So we've got to be ready for it. We cannot come out in the first 20 minutes as shit as we were today, as shit as we have been in past games. It always takes us 20 minutes to half an hour to get going. We've got to erase that entirely from the system. There's only so much Rafa can do. There's only so much Rafa can do to instruct his players. The players have got to execute it on the pitch. And it's very clear that it hasn't been happening well enough. It's good to see Demarai back. It's good to see, Demarai obviously was already back. What am I talking about? But it was good to see Townsend back. It's good to see, a decent enough bench. That's what we were looking at today. But yeah, the centre halves are very shaky. I think the whole backline's shaky. We still need Mina. We're so dependent on him. Richie, he needs to come back soon. I mean, we're praying on it. Branthwaite, I'd love to see him get a go once he's fully fit. And then DCL, obviously, he's going to be he's going to be one hell of an addition to the team that we put out today. So, yeah, I'm excited. And we also didn't see any action from Nathan Patterson tonight. So he may get some action in the Premier League fixture. But that's going to be it from me. Make sure to share your thoughts about the game and what we've been doing in general down below. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy this one. We're doing regular match reactions for all Everton games, with a few exceptions. And subscribe to the show if you want to stay notified about all this stuff that I do. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.